Hello, beautiful manifestors. This is Olivia Grace, and I am back with another video. And in this video, we are going to be doing a 7 days or less to manifest your SP challenge. This video was actually channeled in meditation today. The entire video, like, downloaded into my head. Those of you guys that have been a part of my channel already kind of know my thoughts on SPs, but this was definitely channeled and needed to be made right now. So I know already that it's going to help people. It already has. And I have definitely put intention and magic into this video so that it is a portal into the reality where you are in your happiest relationship, but also as your most whole self. So if you're interested, then stay tuned. If you're into the topics of law of assumption, manifestation, and truly living from your power, you guys. This channel is, yes, about manifesting, but it's really about living your best complete life and being your best and most complete God self. So if that's interesting, I'd love to have you be a part of the channel. All right. So without further ado, let's just jump into the video. I have coached thousands of women and talked about SPs in tons of different ways and circumstances. And I'm going to talk to you guys about um, where the biggest hiccups are, and how this channel or how this challenge is going to address those hiccups and get you to shift. I will tell you that the only reason why this is a 7 days or less is because some of you all that are coming believe in time, and some of you don't. And those of you that don't, this can happen instantly. But in 7 days or less, you will have results. Okay? You will have results. And I want you to just right now feel into what was your response to that? Was your response like, hell yeah, I can get this in 7 days or less? Or was it like, no, this is just another video, or no, it can't be that easy for me, but, right? Just pay attention to that, okay? All right. Now, here's the first thing that you're going to do. I want you to take whatever your story is, whatever it is, and I want you to just bundle it up in your mind and put it in a jar, okay? This jar that you're putting it in is a mystical, ethereal healing jar. And it is healing that version of you on that timeline that experienced that pain and that hurt. It is healing that version of you that has experienced that rejection and has experienced the struggle and has been trying and nothing has been working. All of that experience is being bundled up and put into this ethereal jar. And we're not just forgetting about her. The healing is taking place on your behalf. Okay? So repeat that out loud or in your mind. The healing is taking place on my behalf. This video is already charged. This is a magical portal. Okay? You already stepped into your new reality, and I'm just explaining it to you. The energy has already shifted. I'm just putting it into words for you right now. Okay? All right. Put it in that jar. Here's the thing. I don't want you to smash the jar. I don't want you to burn the jar. Okay? I want you to just slide it over into a shelf. Because if at the end of the 7 days you feel like this was a waste of your time, this didn't do anything for you, you can go back and pick up that story and go back to trying to fix it and work it out. Okay? Um, and it's also a part of safety. The part of us that doesn't want to leave the old story, right? Which is one of the number one, probably the number one problem when it comes to manifesting SPs that I've seen, is the belief and the identification with the old self in the old story of the relationship, and the old story of the SP. Okay? So it doesn't really matter what the story is, right? Doesn't matter what the story about you is, doesn't matter what the story about them is. What matters is, what are you repeating? What are you identified with? What are you accepting as true? And so dropping the old story, what you've been accepting as true has been a form of safety for you. Okay, so even if that's, I can expect this person to be horrible, to cheat on me, to leave me, to not choose me, to not commit to me, whatever it's been, that story it's been some sort of safety net for a part of you. And that's okay. We don't need to deep dive into that in this video, right? But for the sake of that version, instead of rejecting that version, suppressing that version, we're going to let that version know, hey, this isn't forever. It's not forever. It's just for 7 days. For 7 days, we're just going to see what happens. Okay. So you're going to ball up old, that old story, the old story of you. You can even ball that up, put it in the jar. The old story of them, ball it up, put it in the jar. The old story of your relationship, ball it up, put it in the jar. Okay. All right. Now, like I said, you have already stepped into a new reality now. I want you to realize that there is no creating, okay? So, before, when you thought that, wow, I'm stuck in this reality where I don't have what I want, and I have to do something to get into the reality where I do have what I want. No, okay? Or I have to create the reality where I do have what I want. No, it's already created because creation is finished, okay? So your new reality is already created, and you've already stepped into it just when you press play. When you press play, even if you haven't even watched to this point, it already worked. Okay? You're already there. And I'm just going to tell you what to do in the meantime. All right? You're already there. So there's nothing to create. I want you to feel that. What if that were true? What if it were true that there's nothing to create? I'm feeling I got a sign for some of you guys, and the sign is a star. They said something about a sea star or a starfish. I don't know. That's a sign for someone. I don't know who. Okay. Something else about the sevens, which is just crazy because I'm looking at my iPad, is it's the seventh today. I didn't realize that. It's the seventh today. My nails are 777. I'm about to get them changed. And this 7-day challenge came through today. So something with seven. About to knock my camera over. All right. So there's no looking for proof. All right. I know that's ironic to say after I just said they're signs, but those signs are not for you to look for. They're signs that you would already know. All right. There's no looking for proof. Proof will come rushing to you. This is what was told to me. Okay. There's no looking for proof. There's no looking, okay, it's been day one, but what's going on? Did he text? Did he do this? Did he? No, you don't need to look for proof because it already happened. You're already in the reality where it happened. It already happened. Okay. And even if you can't get to it's already happened, it's happening. This is the reality. You're here now where it unfolds. That's it. There's no other way. Okay. So you don't need to look for proof. The proof will come rushing to you. That is what I was told. All right. Now, in the meantime, you're going to tell a different story, but you're going to do this in a different way. You're going to do this in a revision way. Okay. So you're going to revise yourself around love. Yourself around love. You're not even going to revise your partner. You can in your relationship, but first and foremost, you're going to focus on yourself. And your revision is going to be you've always been loved, you've always been cherished, you've always been adored, you've always been happy, and you've always been in your perfect relationship. Okay? You've always been loved, you've always been cherished, you've always been happy, you've always been adored, and you've always been in your perfect relationship. Okay? Now, this is the last thing that I see people get tripped up with is that a lot of people have trauma in one way or another from their childhood. Okay. It doesn't always have to be capital T trauma, you guys, which is like the big things like abuse. It can be something as simple as your dad leaving your mom or your mom, having several different partners and never being committed to. All of these things that we see growing up form a story for us. And subconsciously we pick up and decide this is what love means. This is what love means. And so subconsciously you seek that, even though you're like, I'm not trying to choose a guy like my dad or be the woman like my mom, but I just seem to end up with people like that because your subconscious is choosing what feels familiar and what you're identified with. Okay. Now, even when you are going forward and you're like, okay, even if you've realized this, which a lot of people stay in the chase of the SP so long, they don't realize that this is what they're really looking to heal, right? So, but even if you do and then you realize, whoa, my self-concept is bad. I don't really have a good self-concept around love and a really good identity around love. and you try to fix it then, but you have all these memories of whatever happened in childhood, whatever happened in past relationships that keep re identifying you with that old story. Okay. So you're going to revise that. No, you didn't. You've always been cherished. You've always been adored. You've always been happy. You've always been in a perfect relationship, in your perfect relationship. Okay. Now, there are other specific core beliefs. All right. When I used to do my SP group coaching, I have a core belief chart you guys can get, but you don't have to get it. If you want it, there's a link in my it's on my stand store. So there's a link and I'll just put it in the comments. But even if you don't want to do that, I'm going to tell you how to do it right now. Whatever it is that you're seeking, whatever you're triggered about, right? Like, and I'll give you a short example. If it's like, oh, he always puts people before me, right? He never wants to hang out with me or make time with me. So you have a core belief that you're not prioritized, okay? If it's one of the biggest ones is not being chosen, not being wanted. So if you can't get someone to commit, if they're cheating on you or you're the other person, or whatever it is, you have a core belief that you're not chosen, you're not wanted, okay? You're going to identify these core beliefs and you're going to also add this into your affirmations of what you've always been. You're not going to continue to come at this as I'm the version who's unwanted and never been chosen. Now I'm going to tell myself this stupid stuff to get chosen and wanted and I don't even feel like that. No, you're going to just start telling yourself, you've always been wanted. You've always been chosen. Now, let me pause right here because you're like, but Olivia, that feels like a lie. That doesn't feel true. Stay with me right now, okay? Parallel realities. There is a reality where it wasn't true, and that's where you lived before you clicked on this video. There's also a reality where it is true. All the things that you think are in your way. Can this happen? Am I doing it right? Is that going to happen for me? Does this even work? Da, 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 da. All that stuff is coming from this reality. It's coming from the reality that you used to live in. You don't live there anymore. You're in the reality now. You're on the yellow brick road that only leads you to what you want. That only leads you to you having your SP. That's the only way it ends. It already happened for you. You don't have to do anything. Okay? You don't have to do anything. So, but this is the thing, you guys, about, how do I know this is going to work? Oh, but this doesn't feel true. This feels like a lie. Okay. If I'm in a pink room and I want to get into a blue room, right? And I'm in the pink room and everything around me is pink, does that mean that the blue room is a lie? Does that mean that the blue room doesn't exist? No, it simply means that I'm in the pink room. If all my memories are of a pink room, does that mean that the blue room is a lie? No, it just simply means that's where I've been. So that's what it is with your story. Okay. That's simply where you've been and not anymore. And no, you haven't actually, because you've actually always been in the reality where you've had what you wanted, where you've been who you wanted. I want you to revise. You've always felt loved, cherished, adored. I want you to identify those core beliefs. Okay. I want you to identify those core beliefs of what is it that you really feel when you think about your SP. Maybe it's rejected, maybe it's not chosen, not prioritized, not wanted, love isn't safe, whatever it is. You're gonna identify what that is and add that in with your affirmations. Okay. I also suggest for those of you who did have capital T trauma, and those of you who do feel unsafe in love, who, if you think back in your childhood or you think back in your dating history and you've experienced things that have told you that love is not safe, then you should do some nervous system regulating as well during the 7 days to help you integrate the feeling of being loved and being safely loved into the body. Okay, so that the body is not rejecting that. All right? Okay. All right. Now, of course. What about when I think about my SP though? But I think about him all the time, all of this stuff. Okay, great. First of all, you're not going to be thinking about him all the time because you're going to be drenching your mind in this. You're going to be drenching your mind in your new story, all right, about yourself. Okay. So, but what about if you do think about your SP? Remember all the memories that you're having, right? I'm not even going to ask you to reject that, right? I want you to realize that was the old reality though. That was the old reality. That was a bad dream, even. You can even say it like that. That was a bad dream because I've never been treated like that. I've always been chased. I've always been loved. I've always been adored. That's the only way it's ever been. So whatever memory you're having, stop accepting it as real. Okay? That was a bad dream. Just say that. Just keep saying that. That was a bad dream. That never happened. That never happened. No, realize that you are not changing your SP. You're not changing your SP, okay? This is huge. You're not changing your SP. You're not hoping he changes. You're not understanding how could he ever change? What would make him change? None of that's your problem because you are choosing the version of him that has always been exactly the way that you want. That has always been loving, adoring, caring. That has always had an amazing, incredible relationship with you. Okay? That version is the one he's only lived here. Okay? This other version that did whatever they did, you don't know that version doesn't live here. You don't need to address or wonder about how is it going to happen. Okay? So you're now in this reality and this is the only version. I want you to remind yourself every time he comes up, oh my God, but he did this, but he said that, but he didn't text. No, that version of me always texts me. No, he never did that. That never happened. Okay? Now, this is for those of you who are maybe new at the law of assumption and don't really understand that you're creating, even if you are just like, I don't know, like I don't feel like I can trust this, I want you to pick a placebo. What I suggest is a subliminal, just so that you don't have something telling you like something. I want us to do this with the least amount of techniques as possible because the technique is what makes you think that it's something that can or won't happen in the future, okay? But I want you to pick a placebo. I want you to pick a subliminal, or you can do whatever placebo you want. If it's a meditation, if it's whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you want to do, you're going to pick a placebo. Really, this video is the placebo, but if you want another one, you want more support, pick the placebo and play it. Like whatever it is. But I want you to decide this works. I don't want you to wait and say, I'm going to see if this works. I don't really know. Nope. This has magical powers. It works for me. It works instantly for me. All right. Of course, I would love to see your success stories. I've already manifested your success stories. I've already seen the comments filled with success stories. Now, I want you to just sit here for just 1 second, okay? Before you step out of this video, I want you to understand, okay? I want you to understand you're new. There. Your mind's clear. Okay? Your mind's clear. You're new. The problems that you used to have, you don't have anymore. And really, you've never had problems because you've always lived from your God state. You've always gotten what you want easily. You've always gotten what you wanted easily. You've always been loved just the way you are. And you've always known that. You've always felt enough just the way you are. You've never felt the need to create something because everything has always been created on your behalf. And you're a wonderful receiver. And your mind is so clear. Your brain is accepting all of this. Your brain doesn't want to fight. You can feel the effects of your healing jar, healing any remnants or lingering parts that still were identifying they can't. They just don't. They don't want to anymore. And you're letting this wave of energy come over you now, of calming energy, and you're just at ease. You're in so much ease now. You're in more ease than you've been in months, years, decades. You feel so much ease. You feel so light and easy. You realize there's nothing I have to do. There's nothing I have to do. It's already done. Congratulations. Congratulations. Wonderful job. I can't wait to hear your success stories. If you guys would like to work with me, you absolutely can. I am having a God State activation next Sunday. I would highly suggest that. But other than that, I will put any other tools that can help you with this in the comments. But I'm intending that this prospers you immensely. I'm absolutely sure that it has. Can't wait to hear about it, and I'll see you guys in a video soon.